Hey everyone, how's it going? We're back once again on the final whistle, and today I want to talk about Mario Lemina from Southampton. He has 1 year left on his contract of a 5 year deal, which will be running out next summer. But Newcastle United are keen on signing the 27-year-old Gabonese midfielder from Southampton. But guys, before we jump into things, hit that sub button, hit the like button, and drop comments down below if you'd like to see this transfer happen. And we're going to jump right into things. Mario Lemina has played 30 games this summer if you exclude the Africa Cup of Nations. He's played 19 games in the Premier League, 9 of those being appearances off the bench as a substitute, an FA Cup appearance, and a League Cup appearance, scoring 1 goal in the Premier League, also picking up 5 yellow cards in the Premier League this year. You might question his assists, his goals. For me, he's playing in Southampton. He's not really your attacking midfielder. He's not that kind of a midfielder who's going to provide loads of goals and assists. He is your box-to-box midfielder. He'll put in a strong challenge. He'll win the ball back. He's a tall midfielder. He'll get up there in the air. He'll win those aerial duels. He is very good in the air and on the ground with his challenges. And that is one thing you look at with Mario Lemina. He's not your defensive midfielder. He's not a guy who's going to score goals, add assists. He's a guy who's going to go box to box. He's a workhorse. He's going to keep running all game. He's going to cover that ground, and he's not going to stop working, which is one thing I love about Lemina. For me, if you look at Southampton, Lemina is one of my favorite players playing for Southampton. Came from Juventus, was a great player for them, I thought. Going to Southampton, I think he's had some rough years. He's played very well this year for me. I think he's been one of their better players, arguably, but they've had some phenomenal players. Obviously, in Danny Ings, Che Adams has been okay this year, but they have Mario Lemina, and the issue with Mario Lemina is, guys, his contract will be running out next year, or next summer exactly. And Southampton are keen on signing, not Southampton. Southampton are keen on selling Mario Lemina, actually. And they like to get it done this summer because then they know that if it gets down to the January transfer window, it's going to be even cheaper of a fee you're going to get for him. I'm not exactly sure of a fee they're asking for him, but they did pay $15 million 5 years ago for him. And I'm not sure if you're going to get around that. I think you'll get anywhere from 8 to 10, 8 to 15, 8 to 13, somewhere around that you're going to get. He's not going to be demanding a big fee. Southampton shouldn't be, for me personally. But if you look at Mario Lemina, he's still a 27-year-old box-to-box midfielder, proven in the Premier League, very good quality. I think a mid-table side could pick him up. Obviously, like I said, Newcastle are interested in him. If I was the likes of, let's say, West Ham, I would be going getting him picked up. He would be a bench player for me, but you're going into the Europa League. He could be a good rotation player. He could still play in the Premier League. I think they'd be a great signing for him. Where else could he go? He could go to many different Norwich for me. I love what Norwich is doing this transfer window. He could go there also if they wanted to dish out some money for Mario Lemina, which would be very cheap, and it looks like they're doing some great business and some great bargaining so far. But guys, the big team or the big name so far that I've seen thrown around at Lemina's name is Newcastle United. Obviously, like I said, Southampton are wanting to sell Lemina, and they want to do it this summer. For me, all you guys know, Newcastle has never really been your buying team, your team that goes in for your high caliber players, besides when they had that crazy summer, got St. Maximin, Joe Lantin, all those guys. But this is a Newcastle manager or owner in Mike Ashley that we all know does not spend the big bucks. And Mario Lemina is not a guy who's going to cost the big bucks, but I think he's a quality Premier League player who fits straight into their midfield for me. There's talk about Matty Longstaff leaving on loan. I'm not sure if there's going to be a buy option that or if he's going to go and get sold. I don't think he will. I think he's the better of the Longstaffs. But let's say he goes on loan. Then you're going to, for me, Mario Lemina is already a shoe into that team. You're going to have Lemina. You're going to have John Joe Shelby, Isaac Hayden, or Jeff Hendrick. And you still got Matty Longstaff there. And you could bring somebody else in this summer. And that's a great midfield core. And if Steve Bruce can build on what he did last year, he kept him in the league, which was better than I thought he would. And if they can keep building on that, bring in some more quality players like Mario Lemina, they're going to be staying in the Premier League for me because I think there's going to be a lot worse teams than them this coming year. But guys, I want to talk more about Mario Lemina before we wrap up things here. I want to look at some of his stats and what he's good at. For me, if you look at his performances this year, guys, in the Premier League, he had 83.5% passing accuracy. You could question that as a box-to-box midfielder, but for me, he does play those dangerous balls. He does play it into the channels, through balls, trying to make that decisive play, help with his attacking players, work with James Ward-Prowse, work with Danny Ings and whatnot. and he's a great player at making those passes. And coming off the bench, he's done well. He's been very good this year for me. I thought he's been a great player. So if you look at him in the Premier League, he's had 11 appearances at center mid and substituted on 9 times as a center mid, giving him 20 appearances at the central midfielding role, and also 7 appearances at defensive midfielding role. If you look at his rating in those positions, he's had a 6.8 in the center mid and a 6.59 or a 6.6 at defensive midfield. So for me, he's obviously a box to box, which is great for him. I think he's a quality box to box midfielder, and what he brings to that box to box role is fantastic. He's a great pivot at helping your defensive midfielder, like he's done with Mario Lemina. But guys, I want to look at his strengths before we wrap up the video. I've always talked about these as his strengths: tackling, aerial duels, and passing. His tackling is phenomenal for a box to box midfielder. It's very strong. He's very strong in the challenge. He doesn't shy away from a 50-50. And he's a decently tall midfielder, and he's a great player for me. And I think as a 27-year-old going into those challenges, he wins the ball. He'll move up with the pitch. He's not scared to take a dribble on, and he's quality at tackling. And aerial wise, like I said, he'll win your aerial duels. He'll help you out in the middle of the pitch, goal kicks, anything in the air, corner kick wise. He'll win those balls in the air, and it's great to have a guy in the midfield like that to help your defensive midfielder out. And guys, before I wrap this video, let's talk about his passing quickly here. I think his range of passing is very good, and it's very cool to see his range of passing as a box to box. And the key attribute here for me, guys, is he's still 27. So that's what Southampton can use to get a bit more money off of Mario Lemina, because he isn't a big name. But for me, I think he's a very cool name out there this summer, and it's going to be interesting to see if Newcastle can get him or where he's going to land. And Mario Lemina's play style, guys, I'm going off of Who Scored, and I love this website. It's so cool. He's very good at indirect set piece threats, and he likes to tackle. Like I said, he loves to get in and crunch and win the ball back. But guys, we're going to wrap up things here. I'd love to see Newcastle sign Mario Lemina. Obviously, like I said, Southampton want to get rid of him before they lose him on a free. And it'll be very cool to see what happens this summer. I know you might not like this video. A lot of you might not know who Lemina is, not rate Lemina. But I just love making these videos, and I think Mario Lemina is a quality player. And I like making these little videos on these underrated, not so known about high-rated players. But guys, we're going to wrap things up, and we'll be back for another one shortly. Peace, guys.